Hi friends! Today I present my most recent mini Suqqu haul completing the almost pre-summer and global summer collections. I was unable to cop a few pieces from either, but we'll go over the ones that I was able to purchase. And after we get through the swatches and a few demos, I wanted to present more comparisons that now exist in my Suqqu collection, especially amongst the lipsticks. There are a lot of colors that, as I love Suqqu for, they're just gentle nuances and approach to color, especially in their lipsticks. It's just wonderful. So I wanted to go over the different shades that might resemble the ones that recently released, as well as the blush shades, and covering a few of the signature color quads, as well as a few designing quads to cover a few comparisons there that just recently released, and all timestamps will be down below. So if you need to refer back to this video in trying to identify the different comparisons and shades, not only will I have the timestamps, but the number of the different products, because Suqqu does classify their products through numbers and through their own names. And to have this video flow a lot better, I will present these products through their numbers and not necessarily their names. Okay, I love the Japanese language. I watch a lot of anime, but it could be a little rough. So thank you so much for understanding. And if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia, an online coach and also a lover of beauty. I like to review it, put it on, talk about it, teach it. Let's get started. Let's begin with pre-summer 2022. I have a video covering the collection that Suqqu was so kind enough to send me. I originally was sent 114. This had the beautiful stormy cloudy blue with the teals, seashell pink, and soft gold shade. Alicia, can you please focus? Thank you so much. Adore this quad, but I also had my eye on 113, and this had the plum brown, coral, tangerine, violet, or they classify as a lilac shade. And we will get to the swatches because the signature color quad formula alongside the matte, their shimmers are just so soft but have beautiful crushed pearls, different colored ones that add lovely dimension to the shadows without them feeling heavy or hard to apply. So you'll see that in the demo. The flawless gloss, I was sent number 111, the brown base with the red, blue, and multicolored pearls, and had to grab 110, the cool green with the gold sparkle. For the fluid fogs, I was sent 109 originally, and excuse me, I have my notes. 109 was classic beige, and the fluid fog formula is just heavenly. So that is classic beige, and I wanted to get the coral 108. This definitely has a little more pink, but together I think a lovely duo. And this is why I wanted to get into the comparisons in a bit with the other lipsticks, because I have plenty in my collection that look like these shades. Let's go into the swatches from 113 just to make this as quick as possible. Picking up first the matte, and then what is this? We have the tangerine shade and the coral, and we have that sparkly overlay lilac shade. And I adore this matte. It has a little bit of that plum undertone, which I think pairs wonderfully with the coral, lilac, and tangerine. It makes for a more vibrant approach to these colors, but they're still so soft and approachable, I feel. Compared to 113, you can see that 113 has more of a cooler approach to the color story. Still lovely, right? And I think both wearable, interchangeable also, I think, if you wanted to mix it up. And to show you the gloss differences, this is 110. You can't really see the green, but I think you can detect more of the gold pearl. And here is 111. That has more of a brown base. You can see there on the tilt, but has red, blue, and multicolored pearls in the formula. This is my go-to because it is my lip color a little bit because of the brown base, but the beautiful shine, I think perfect as a standalone, as well as this one. So why don't I bring you in a little closer? That's enough. I think you can tell this gloss is a more straightforward color approach. Maybe there's a little coolness to the undertone, again, because of the cool green base, but very shiny. And I had made note of this in my pre-summer collection video that the texture is still smooth. You can feel a little bit of the pearl or whatever is giving it the shine. I don't think it's an issue. And these flawless lip gloss formulas from Suqqu, I think, have reasonable longevity, and they're nice to reapply. So when they do fade, they don't leave behind gunk, and on the reapplication, the lips don't feel heavy. Applying the Fluid Fog shade in 108, the more coral leaning shade compared to 109, which is identified as more of a beige. This is great though. I don't know what to do with corals because it could feel a little grown and sexy for me and warrants more makeup. And I feel I could just go out like this and be fine, even without blush, because the coral is not so intense that I feel drains the color out from my face. It just balances it out and gives my lip a little color. And the Fluid Fog formula is unparalleled. I have nothing like this in my collection, nor did I ever encounter something like this before I tried Fluid Fog for the first time. Its moussey, creamy texture wraps your lips. Although matte in finish, it still transfers. They don't latch on to your lips. They don't make them feel dry. They still make them feel smooth and comfortable, but with that matte finish and a little bit of a sheen, not flat looking on the lips. We love the Fluid Fog. And compared to 108, more subdued, as you see. When I tried this color for the first time, you saw how ecstatic I was in my original video. It's fantastic. It's my lip shade, but a little more warm beige. It has a little bit of color. This perhaps best for colorful eyes, maybe a little more vibrant eye color here, and the coral perhaps best for just mascara days or a black brown liner across the lashes. And any of the flawless lip glosses on top, I could imagine that pairing the cool green with the coral might work out because the gold flecks with the coral shade would pair nicely together, and having the brown with the classic beige shade and have so much fun. And I thought, why not? Why don't we go into the demo now using number 113, Signature Color Quad. I like to go in with the matte first, but you can go in with several ways. If you haven't used a Signature Color Quad from Suqqu before, I think easily approached by just applying one of the shimmers. So you could go in with either the coral or the tangerine and then tap a little bit of that lilac on top. Maybe you'll go in with the matte first and then one of these on the lid, or one of these on the lid and using the matte as a smoky wing liner. I'll tap into the coral shade first, which is just so lovely by itself. It has a pink to it, but I think more coral leaning as it contains a little bit of red, and the shine is incredible, so smooth to the touch, and you can see I can blend out the texture without a matte being present, which I feel makes it tremendously easy to use these shades solo. Tapping in the tangerine shade and using that as our inner corner, kind of like vibrant Yahoo shade. And you can take now the matte, using it as a wing liner moment, or tapping some on the outer part of the lid. And these mattes are so soft where they practically blend themselves. You don't need to over manipulate the shadow. You can see here I'm using a shader brush for a matte shade, and I'm striking the edges out to softly blend and diffuse the lines so they don't look harsh. And you're done. You're done. If you wanted a more pronounced serving of color, perhaps choose a thinner shader just to pull the matte along the lash line. You know how I love to invite colors to the inner lower lash line. So now going in with that lilac shade and placing it here on the inner part, overlapping the matte also just to bring a little bit of shine there across the lash line. And as I mentioned before, you can tap that violet shade over the coral and it just leaves behind, again, that twinkle without feeling too dry, without overwhelming the lid. And look, you're done. You can always take a fluffy brush without additional product and kind of whisk away at the edges if you wanted to pull out further or if you wanted to smooth out the blend. Okay, this is what I'm saying. I was unable to grab the purple blush from pre-summer. I was just too slow, and Yeah, I have the pink blush, which I love. Is a vibrant pink. It's the Pure Color Blush formula that is a powder formula. Now we're going into Global Summer 2022, which featured the limited edition Melting Powder Highlighter, which I was sent. Thank you again so much, Suqqu. In addition to the 115 Enka Signature Color Quad. I wore this all last weekend, and man, it is the best, as well as 101 in both the melting powder blush and the melting powder highlighter. So here is 102, which is described to be as a deep orange with a hint of red, but I decided to pick up also 102, a terracotta beige. Online, it looked very cool and not like it could contribute anything to my complexion, but you know, it did a little bit. It did a little bit. Back to Signature Color Quad, I wanted to pick up 116. This had the cooler brown, softer pink shades. This is actually a duochrome, and you'll see it on the demo because when I did this yesterday, I was like, oh my god. Some swatches here for you. Let's do it. The rose, that looks like Rose Dusk. That beautiful brown, and here, it's hard to tell, but this flips to like a teal if you apply it on top of this shade. Then we have this cool pink overlay that again can be applied on any of these shades. This is like Divine Rose 1 edited, super edited Divine Rose 1, softer in approach if you wanted to think of it that way. Now on to 102 Terracotta Beige, and I will swatch the melting powder highlight next to these shades as well. So that is more of a highlight on me, but when I apply it, you'll see it has a little bit of warmth, a little bit. 101, this shade is just magnificent. Again, I was wearing it nonstop over the weekend. It's just, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Let's swatch the melting powder highlighter, which of course I need to get my spacing together so I can do this correctly, but that is the melting powder highlighter shade. So you can see this has a little bit like, it's like a tan beige. That's the orange, and that's the melting powder highlighter. That's definitely more gold. As for the lipsticks, I was unable to grab 122, that bright orange moisture lipstick with the gold and blue pearls. I was up at 3 a.m. on Selfridges trying to get these pieces, and I could not check out, was not able to check out with PayPal, was not able to enter a new credit card, okay? I was stuck. Then I headed to Liberty London. They had uploaded the Signature Color Quad, the sheer matte lipstick, and the blushes, but they did not upload the moisture lipsticks. And of course, by the time I woke up, because I decided to go to bed, I'm like, this is silly. Why am I up at this hour buying makeup? I gave up because I wanted to go back to bed, and lo and behold, when I signed back on, saw that that lipstick was gone, but it's okay. I picked up I believe, is it 108? Let me see here. 108. Yes, 108 is the sheer matte lipstick formula, sheer matte lipstick that, ooh, this color is just sensational. And I love the sheer matte lipstick formula in that, as opposed to the Fluid Fog definitely, there's a lot more, as in the name, fluidity to the application. There's more creaminess to it, but the sheer matte lipstick, even though it's matte, is still not dry, and I think still has a great silkiness to it that just makes it so easy to apply. Compared to 109. 109 is described to be a rich, crisp brown. And next to 108, you can see there's more of that brown present in the color. Here is the sheer matte lipstick in 108 and the sheer matte lipstick in 109. 109 definitely has a little more groundedness to it, but the orange is just sensational because it's bright without feeling or looking overwhelming, and the formula itself, I think, just is so seamless to apply. It doesn't like require a high skill level. For instance, if I were to apply an orange lipstick from Lisa Eldridge, I will have to stay within the lines, perhaps use a liner, you know, for security. This I don't feel like I have to do that with. You see what I'm saying? 102, seeing how this looks, let's pick up a blush brush. You can see there's a little bit of warmth added to my cheeks, but definitely limited in terms of the vibrancy compared to 101. And I can apply this shade on the other side, so you can also recognize just that difference. And especially if you're my skin tone or deeper, 101 will give you the best color payoff by far. And the melting powder formula is outrageous simply because, yes, it's a little more vibrant than their pure color blush formula, but the melting texture leaves behind a sheen without looking overly greasy, too shiny, you know what I mean? And it doesn't enhance texture either. Especially the more you buff the color in, the better it is. 102 is cool, happy that I bought it. Ultimately, I would just apply this on top of 101 and have like that lovely gradient going on, you know what I'm saying? And the melting powder highlighter, this guy right here is just rude. It's rude. I like placing it lower on the cheeks because as a strong golden tone, which I love, okay? More golden than yellow, for sure. So I can still apply it higher on the cheekbones, but I think it more advantageous for me to apply it on the tops of my cheeks, especially with the more orange leaning shade. I'm telling you, I'm only gonna wear these blushes for the whole summer with Phytosurgeons and the most recent additions to my cheek collection, please. And let's now apply this signature color quad again in 116. Again, I had done this last night, and that brown shade all by itself is great when you can find a brown that's not too cool but not too warm, like hits you right in the center, but it has a sheen to it. I'm looking at it here, it's so soft that it leaves behind a sheen when blended. Let me show you. So I'm taking quite a bit and placing that on the lid first. And let's swirl and twirl through the crease because, my goodness, you can see how this brown is a perfect daily smoky shade for me, in that it's not too smoky, but just enough. And now to see the duochrome flip here, applying the shade on top of the brown, and look, it appears blue. So pretty. So this was such a pleasant surprise from Suqqu, because Suqqu, again, a lot more gentle with their textures and their finishes. To have a duochrome in a signature color quad from them, and it's not intimidating at all. It's still soft, but definitely is a departure from typical neutral shades, and when applied on top of the brown, forget it. Placing the rose here on the inner lower lash line, and you know, why not, let's take it all the way across. Now this softer lilac shade on the inner corner, and why not, I'm going to cross collections here. I'll place that color here because I realized I didn't bring a lot to the inner corner for highlight, so let's make sure we don't leave that out. I absolutely love this and appreciate the fact that when you see this side by side with Anka is giving you the deep orange brown, whereas 116 Koukyou is cooler in nature. So although the global summer collection was more sizzling hot than pre-summer, I'm happy that they included a color story that was just cooler, in that you still had the beautiful shades there, but not as, you know, not as this, which I like, because I do sometimes want a cooler eye look. I think is great for every day, and also optimal for one that this is definitely going to look more orange than brown on, but then you have the rosier shades, this brown and this duochrome here. Perfect. And why don't I apply one of my most favorite fluid fog shades of all time, 08. This reminds me of the fluid fog shade. This is where I have to do the comparisons. This is more of a lighter beige, I understand, but just wanted to apply it to see how it looks with the eyes. Let's apply a little bit of the 07. 07 has a little bit more of a richer brown hue to it. I did some off-camera swatches because there was a truck in front of my window that was taking forever to leave. I wanted to compare this matte to the one that exists in two designing color quads here, 135 and 136, some of my faves. So here I swatched the one from 113. You see that has more of a stronger eggplant undertone. The center one is from 136. This has more of a neutral bark undertone. And here for 135, you see this has more of a cooler undertone. I feel the one from 116 has a little more plum, whereas this is a little more eggplant, a little more cooler all around. All around. Get the words out. And these two comparisons I wanted to make, let's see here. Yes, this is 107. I think this might have been a limited edition release. When I saw 107, I thought about 116 from Global Summer. So here they are side by side. I think this color warmer than that shimmer, but I thought because this one had this taupey brown as well as this plummy shimmer shade, they were similar in terms, not exactly the same colors, but vibe, in terms of the vibe. And here is the finished look with both quads and just the new products I recently picked up. I'm very happy with these signature color quads, especially 116 from Global Summer. The cool tones I adore because they're just right for me. They're just right. And again, I love the inclusion of this duochrome. It's not so blue that it scares people away. I think this is a shade that many can wear successfully, especially when layered over the brown. And to have a shade like Rose Dusk in here, this is exactly like Rose Dusk. Let me get it here. This right here. Come on, are you kidding me? That is Rose Dusk. And of course, the Sparkly Arcly shade that I could have went in, why not, I could do it now, over the duochrome to get a little more shine, but so easy to apply with a finger. And again, let me stop gushing, but did you see this highlighter? We've already seen it a million times here. I cannot get over it. How perfect it is. This is what we're going to do. Going to wipe these forearms and head into these lip product comparisons. Be right back. From Global Summer, we have 109 and 108 again. These here, 101 through 103, were limited edition shades that released in autumn-winter 2021 when their sheer matte lipstick formula was first introduced. Here's 101, here's 102, and here is 103. You see 101 is more beige, 102 has more of a muted feel to it. I would say this color is like these combined, and 103 is like that rich maple brown. 101 is described to be a maple beige, 102 an amber, and 103 a coffee brown. 102 looks like these colors mixed together, but I can see is a lot more subdued, a lot more muted. 07 is a walnut brown, and 06 is a tea brown. I know people do stripes, but I just like to do this with the color. I just feel I get a better idea of how it actually looks on the lips. Some people might find that annoying, but I'm sorry. That's how I like to do swatches. Forgive me. Now there's 11 and 12. I forgot where 11 and 12 popped on to the scene, but this is 12. One of my most favorite colors. It's like maybe this one, but it has a little more coral to it. And 11 is by far one of my most favorite pink shades I have. I like it better than Pillow Talk, and I love that color too when it was sent to me by Charlotte's team. It's so great. It's just the perfect tone of pink with a little bit of beige in there. This, in words, I can't get out. Now for the Fluid Fogs. Okay, the Fluid Fogs, I have a few. Compared to the ones we saw from pre-summer, I have here, let's see, 08 in both the Fluid Fog and the gloss finish. What is the official name? Fluid Glow. 04 is like this beautiful warm beige shade. It's like a little bit of a terracotta in there. This is 08, the Fluid Fog formula that has a little more pink. This is 08 in the Fluid Glow. That's a little more cooler beige. Number 7, Fluid Fog, one of my most favorite shades, brown shades of all time. It is just like that perfect warm autumn brown color. And I think these are from a spring release. I believe when looking at all these numbers, any number with a 10 something is a limited edition shade, and numbers that are just 0 something are permanent shades. These are all Fluid Fog, so they have that soft matte finish. Going in with 102, it's more like a mauvey rosy pink. 104 definitely has more red. I apologize for these weird circles. I'm swatching with my left hand, and I've been brushing my teeth with my left hand and painting my nails, but this is the new challenge. Thank you so much for understanding. And 106 looks to be like a burnt orange shade. So let me put it, I'm gonna put it down here. Oh, maybe more of like a burnt coral. They look similar. And now revisiting the shades from pre-summer. Again, these are 108 and 109. 108 being the coral shade, and this is again in the Fluid Fog. So I think different from what I already have. That has a more distinct pink coral tint to it. And 109, which was described to be a classic beige. I'm gonna put it here because I was wondering how this would compare to, I believe, 7 as well as 8. So this is 8 in the Fluid Glow, and this is 8, I believe, in the Fluid Fog. The Fluid Glow for 8 has a little more coolness to it, whereas 108 here, a little more warmth. So, you know, I guess depending on where I wanted to go undertone wise, I would choose. But yeah, these are all of my favorite Fluid Fog shades. You can see that they run from the spectrum of like warm beige, pinky beige into the more coral terracotta warm reds. I think what I adore about Suqqu colors is that they are approachable, especially the ones that are not your beigey brown shades, which I absolutely love. But I try to wear more of the coral pinks, and depending on the lipstick formula, I can get away with it or not. It looks a little funny on me, but these colors I could get down with. These I can wear. Now these are the Vibrant Rich lipstick. These are not the Moisture Rich. The Moisture Rich has a little more gloss to it. This is in 110. I don't remember where this popped off collection wise, but I'll just pop it on here next to the Fluid Fog. That has more of a pinky beige tone to it. And the Vibrant, I think, has a softer matte finish, just judging from the color. This is 114. 114 looks to be a deeper brown with a little bit of a plum hue in there. And 111 is like a brick red. That is the color for 111. So these are all my lipstick shades from Suqqu. Well, not all of them, but the ones I find are my faves. And what I thought of when recently trying the shades from pre-summer and global summer. The blush shades, let us re-swatch the shades from global summer. Again, this is 101 highlighter, 102, 101. The shades that I thought of from the permanent melting blush collection that released last January are the following. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, so many colors. We have 105, which is more of like a creamsicle color. We have 04, that's like a soft pink, like a carnation. I guess a desaturated carnation. 08, Tomoshibi. Oh, this was the MVP shade when I first applied it. I love. And here, 06, this I thought of right away when I saw 101 from Global Summer. 06 is, I think, it has a little bit of coral orange in there. So that is the shade. So you can see compared to the one from Global Summer, this has a little bit more of an orange, like a copper orange, and this is more of a coral orange. Now, some pure color blush shades, not exactly the same, but in terms of feel, this is number 11. It has like a bronzy to warm pink gradient. I thought when I first swatched this shade from Global Summer. So that's more of like a very soft bronzer shade. Here we have 127. Again, I cannot recall the collection this was from, but that's again more of like a creamsicle shade. Kind of reminds me of this one a little bit, but that has a like more sheen, I guess, more maybe because of that yellow gradient. This, I believe, released during, was it the autumn release? I think so, because this had such a lovely like rusty tint to it. I adore that shade. All over the cheeks, my goodness. And this one here, I believe, was like the more subdued one. This really didn't show up on me as much as this one does. I think this one more suitable for lighter skin tones, and this one more from medium, but not, I think it's limited unless you build it up. But let me know down below if you grab that shade. I believe it was 128, the more red toned type of a gig, if you have a deeper skin tone than me, if it worked out or not. So those are the comparisons that I wanted to present, as well as showing you my most recent Suqqu purchases. Overall, I'm happy that I was able to complete the collection, partially because I was not able to pick up the purple blush from pre-summer or the moisture lipstick from global summer, but it's fine. As far as the cheek products and the color quads, my goodness, when I used 115 Enka, that deep orange color quad last weekend, I just enjoy the fact that I only had 4 shades, and it challenged my creativity in what are the different ways I can use these shades. And I think also a greater challenge to just apply one shadow. Just one shadow. You don't have to apply 3 mattes, 3 shimmers, although I love those moments. Those eye looks are gorgeous, but a more practical approach to makeup I think exists in Suqqu, and the textures allow for a seamless experience, and also the color stories I think encourage users to leave their comfort zone. Like for instance, this color quad from Global Summer, it's still cool and soft and sits in the realm of neutral, but the gentle nuances I think make people excited and perhaps will encourage them to try other duochromes from other brands, right? You never know. The lipstick textures, outrageous. I can't get over how lovely the sheer matte lipstick formula is, because mattes do have a bad rep in being dry, not creamy, feeling terrible after a few hours. The sheer matte doesn't do that. Although I do prefer Fluid Fog over Sheer Matte, but we're splitting hairs here and we're already starting top tier. The Fluid Fog formula with its flexible doe foot applicator just makes it ideal and easy to apply that lipstick. It's flat on both sides, and again, it just presses the formula beautifully across the lips in a way that the applicator doesn't pick up a lot of product, just enough so that you could actually get everything on one application. Easy. The melting powder blush formulas, of course, always just a pleasure to use, and unlike anything I have in my collection, it's nice to have a formula that sits between a powder and a cream. That's exactly what the melting powder blush formulas deliver, and I would love to see more of the marble melted powder highlight formula in different shades. Maybe Suqqu will release more in the upcoming collections, crossing fingers. But yes, hopefully this helped and just shed some light on different colors that you also might have in the collection that hopefully I presented, because if you feel like you don't need to pick up the most recent releases, you're good with the colors that you have, well, there you go. With that said, fam, I will see you down in the comments, and until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, Suqqu Extravaganza, monthly favorites, or vlog. Take care, and I will see you again soon.